Welcome back to the part 2 of Daniel and Michael. Daniel walked to the bridge, and the sky was swollen with dark clouds, and the air smelled like a storm. The closer he got, the heavier his steps became, as if the road itself was warning him to turn back. The bridge loomed ahead, its wood damp and creaking under the weight of silence. Then he heard it. Daniel's heart hammered as he stepped onto the bridge. The planks groaned beneath him. Halfway across, the football slipped from under his arm, rolling to the center of the bridge before stopping, perfectly still. Dan! The whisper slithered through the air. He spun around. No one. Then, slowly, water began seeping through the cracks of the bridge, pooling around his shoes. The air grew colder, sharp like knives against his skin. And when he looked down into the black river below, Michael was staring up at him, not smiling, not laughing, just staring. His lips moved, forming words Daniel couldn't hear. The river answered with silence. Then Michael's hand shot out of the water. The hand burst from the black water, pale and dripping, fingers reaching for Daniel's ankle. Daniel stumbled backward, his scream catching in his throat. The wood beneath him shook, groaning as though the bridge itself wanted to collapse. "Michael," he shouted, though he wasn't sure if it was out of fear, anger, or the stubborn hope that his friend might still be saved. The hand tightened around his ankle. Cold, impossibly cold, like ice pressed straight into his bones. Daniel kicked wildly, slipping on the wet planks. The football lay still in the center of the bridge, watching, waiting. Then Michael's face broke the surface. But it wasn't the Michael Daniel remembered. His eyes were too dark, too empty. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Water streamed from his mouth as if he were still drowning, even here. "Let me go," Daniel yelled, kicking harder. For a moment, the grip loosened. He scrambled backward, his breath ragged. And then, silence. The river stilled. Michael was gone. Daniel lay there on the bridge, chest heaving, heart slamming like it might break free. When he finally dared to crawl toward the football, he saw something scratched across its damp leather, faint but fresh as though written by invisible hands. "You are next." Daniel staggered to his feet, clutching the ball. He didn't remember running home, only the sound of his footsteps echoing against the empty road. When he finally burst into his room, he was very scared. He couldn't sleep throughout the night. Then the next day, Daniel came to school with a sad face. Sarah was waiting by his desk, her face pale. "You went, didn't you?" she whispered. Daniel nodded, trembling. He showed her the football. Her hands shook as she traced the words. This isn't about Michael anymore," she said. "The bridge takes who it wants. First him. Now it's calling you. Wow, this is serious." Oh. Daniel dropped onto his sit, his head spinning. The whisper still lingered in his ears, curling like smoke he couldn't escape. But Sarah wasn't finished. "My grandmother told me once," she said, her voice low, "that long ago, a boy drowned under that bridge. They say he never crossed over. Every few years, he drags someone else into the water so he won't be alone." Daniel froze. The next morning, Daniel didn't want to go to school. His eyes were heavy, his body weak, but something deeper than fear pulled him back to that classroom. A football sat neatly on the desk, drops of water trickling down its side. No one else seemed to notice. The teacher carried on, her chalk tapping against the board, while Daniel's heart pounded like a drum in his ears. The letters were there again, dark, deep, scratched into the wet leather. "You are next." Daniel's stomach twisted. He turned to Sarah, who sat a few rows away. She hadn't seen it yet. He thought about telling her, about running out of the room, but something held him in place. The air grew heavier, thicker, until breathing felt like swallowing stones. Daniel's blood ran cold. Slowly, as though someone invisible had leaned back. Please, watch out for the part 3 of Daniel and Michael.